a HitPoint, a JRPG news show, an anime news show, a niche news show, a show where Baku and I talk about anything and everything that catches our interest. We broadcast live every single Sunday, except for the ones on which we do Mondays instead, at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be previewing trailers, potentially talking about some rumors. We'll be responding to comments and super chats at the end of the episode. Baku, good to see you, man.
Oh boy, good to be here, man. How was your long weekend?
So far so good, man.
So far so good.
Yeah. It's been pretty good so far. I've been spending some extra time rearranging my space a little bit so you guys have a slightly different view than usual, and I am very happy to have some of my other cool stuff like hanging out in the backgrounds and stuff. I don't know. A little bit
your
of
background, man.
Oh, thank you very much. I like yours.
Thank you. I need to change it up one of these days. I don't know how, but it's gonna happen.
I don't know. Just switch out the figures for other figures or something.
Yeah.
Continue adding new figures to the selection.
Just, funny you mentioned that. I need to buy new cases because those cases they're not holding. Like I need to buy bigger cases.
Oh, I see.
Because I have more figures coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have more vertical space, it looks like. You can just keep stacking higher. Just add more shelves on top of the old
just stack
shelves.
the waifus on the waifus.
Yes. That sounds like the perfect solution.
Try not to break anything. But yeah, I guess for the overseas folks who are joining us, first of all, welcome to the show. But also, you may not know this, but here in the States, we have our 4th of July, which is also on Independence Day. So we basically have that long weekend off, and that's where that's coming from. And usually we would travel and spend time with family, and that's basically why we didn't do a show on Sunday. But hey, we're here now on Monday, or at least for those of you who are still on Monday. Some of you guys are on Tuesday already. These time travelers.
But if you need somebody to blame me, because I actually didn't even tell Baku. I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna be like out of town in like 2 days. So on Friday, I'm like, hey Baku, guess what?
It's my turn.
Yep, it is my turn
right,
to be the reason we're delaying. So it's my fault, everybody. I apologize. So
we shall forgive you.
Oh, well, thank you. I hope to strive to redeem myself in the future. We'll
are you even a real YouTube celebrity if you don't go on an apology tour? You gotta apologize for skipping the show.
All right, listen. I just wanted to say that Baku is very sorry that I was not here yesterday.
I was very sorry that Derek wasn't here yesterday.
Well, you know what, guys? Apologies aside, Baku's apology on my behalf aside, we do have a really great show for you today. We've got so much to talk about, some of which I have already talked about in a little HitPoint extra, because that is something we didn't stream last Sunday because you were going to be gone that time. And I think we called it. I think we called it at the end of the last episode that because Baku was gone, there would be some incredible news coming out. And just like clockwork, Baku leaves for a moment, and then they're like, this is our chance. Gentlemen, the time has come.
I was typing profusely before the show starts. So hopefully we got everything in. Yeah.
So what we're saying in general here is you're welcome. And we'll make sure to send Baku away again soon so that more news can come out.
That's the trick. You figured it out. The entire just JRPG industry just waiting for me to go on vacation.
That's right.
That's all they're waiting for. Okay.
So we've got some comments to talk about and respond to from last week. And I'll go ahead and kick things off with this one here from Madison.
Good call.
Yeah. Who says, I'm so happy they remade Star Ocean. That's one of the first games I bought. And they also gave us a note here that in the 60s, there were portable radios. Boomboxes definitely existed in the 70s.
Huh.
And they went on to say a bunch of other super interesting things. That was in regards to a trailer that we had watched for a really cool looking game called
Oh
Boomtown.
yeah.
Talking
Yeah.
about Boomtown. And I was like,
Mhm.
is that right? Because I, for some reason, had it stuck in my head that
Mhm.
boomboxes were like a artifact of the 1980s.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's when they were definitely popularized, those 70s going into 80s. But
Mhm.
turns out they actually did start getting produced back in the 60s. And I was able to
Mm.
verify that too after the fact. And yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. So yeah, my own pedantry was basically what hoisted myself by my own petard, you know. So that's my bad.
It probably took like a good 20 years to like, for the technology
Oh sure,
to become more commonplace, if that makes sense. Like
yeah, they definitely didn't
initially.
have well, I would say they probably didn't have cassette boom boxes, like the
Mm,
real iconic like over the shoulder kind that were powered by like 18 D cell batteries. You know,
yes.
they probably didn't have those super huge and super loud until the 80s, but I'm sure that by the 60s they were like starting. Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Roland's Savdons. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Who said those pixel art indies you showed looked awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for the developers for making awesome indie games.
Yes.
Which we will be talking about one particular one coming
Yeah.
up very soon. We got
I'm
some
very
exciting news
excited.
there.
I'm very excited.
I know. What that was that one time when you were watching trailer like 3 times. You were like, let's watch that again.
I
Like,
think that
oh
was the
god.
first time that I was like, hang on. Let's watch the instant replay.
Yeah, watch it again. It's like,
And
okay,
again.
Derek.
And again.
So yeah, we're looking forward to bringing you guys more of these indie games. A lot of these are just what was that? They're just really exceeding our expectations, and it just get better and better every year. So I look
Yeah.
forward to bringing those to you.
I'm so excited for that. You know, and
Yep.
I just rearranged our questions a little bit because I feel like
Oh,
this one's
okay.
more related to you, but I'll go ahead and answer this other one real quick.
Okay, sure.
Um, so yeah, I got a comment here from Derek Buckler. Sweet last name, by the way. It's like a little shield. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "No offense, Derek, but you're using my name." LOL. But from one to another, howdy. As for the game industry right now, I'm tired of dealing with these game prices. Like the new
Mm.
Mortal Kombat, $110 to get all of the content, which means paying for season passes, transactions. You know, I'm gonna start using that actually. Microtransactions.
Transgressions.
Blah blah blah. In other words, I'm not putting money like that into games anymore, and I feel the same way, man.
Mhm.
Um, I there's one reason why a lot of times with brand new games that are coming out that are like day one DLC and stuff like that, it's I just don't do it sometimes, you know, a lot of times. Now, part of me in the back of my mind, I can understand why they do it. Like
Mhm.
like video games in the 90s, like Chrono Trigger was sold at MSRP at like 80, $90, sometimes more. Back
Mhm.
in 90s. Back in the
Mhm.
90s when a dollar was worth something 30
Hmm.
years ago. What is I'm gonna Google this actually real quick because I didn't prepare this in advance, but what is 90 US dollars uh from 19
Adjusted to inflation.
yeah 90 uh adjusted for inflation, there we go. It would be $209 today.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't expect it to be that bad. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I get where they're coming from, I know why.
Mhm.
You know, it's just in the economy that we're in, like $100, $110 seems like a lot of money. But
Mm-hmm.
compared to like what we used to pay for games that were admittedly developed by much smaller crews also at the time,
Mm-hmm.
like it used to pay like I think that the only way that the game industry is continuing to make any money at all is scale, so everything has to sell a million copies or else it's a dud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or alternatively, they have to do things like this to nickel and dime little microtransactions because they know no one's gonna buy a massive RPG
Mm-hmm.
if it's $209 in today's money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to justify so simply because they're asking for more money and an incomplete product. But like you said, adjusted inflation, they are charging less relatively to
Mm-hmm.
yesteryears. It's hard math to do because development cost goes up,
Mm-hmm.
people's salary goes up.
Yep.
There's inflation. The game's per unit price has stayed more or less the same. So
It's
how do
gone down
you, yeah,
even.
yeah. So
It's
how do you do this, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
okay,
chicken and the egg sort of situation because I know that some people are going to be like, well, back then games were finished, right? It's
yeah.
like, well, now games can't be finished because they're running out of money during development. So it's like, who's gonna budge first? Are we gonna start ponying up
uh,
for completed games that don't have DLC, or is this the future of video gaming?
well, I'll ask this, right? Let's say games really should be $100 per game, right? They should be. Would you
Hmm.
rather pay $60 per game and then have $40 of bonus content that you could choose to buy or not, or $100 per game, complete, no choices,
That one.
and you just have to buy the whole thing, even if you didn't care for some of the content. Like, if you think of it that way, it feels a little better. I'm not
Hmm.
trying to like defend companies, but let's just, play a little bit of business like logic here,
Yeah.
right? So I don't
I
know.
mean, a lot of that money is going to go to the developers, like the people, and some of it's also going to the company too. Um, so that helps me sleep a little bit better. Is knowing that if that basically that content is going towards continuing to pay for people to like live, you know. But
They're also
it's
underpaying
just
developers, so that's like a whole different thing.
yeah, it is. It is.
That depends on companies. It's not a
That's a very good
completely,
point
yeah,
too.
yeah. But I
So
won't go there.
anyways, getting back
Yeah.
around to talking about this, support your indie devs, everybody. I think that pound for pound they deliver more content for your buck, a
Hmm.
more compacted experience that's not full of filler, and they're paying themselves, well. I think I think that
It's
an
a
indie
lot of
develop
love.
yeah,
It's a lot of this like labor of love that goes
it's
into it.
gotta be.
I'm not even certain that they make much money at all, unless it's like a smashing hit.
Yeah.
You know.
Now,
Uh.
getting to your question that you raised earlier about like
Hmm.
whether I would prefer one or the other, I think I would prefer the $100 game,
Hmm.
mainly as a video game collector to have something that's
Mm.
physical on box, and I
Hmm.
won't have to worry about servers going down in 10, 20
Oh
years.
God, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Ugh.
I think that heavily tilts the scales in that direction for me, but I don't know
Hmm.
how it would be for non-collectors. So everybody at home, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah. Would you rather? Oh, this is a good. Would you rather?
Yeah.
Would you rather? And just ask one more time. Would you rather pay a $60 game with $40 bonus content that you can choose to get or not, but it's digital, or the content's digital. The game could be physical, or $100 all inclusive in the game complete, but it's $100 you don't get to choose,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the $40 you could take some or not all of it, right? It's not like a $40 expansion. It's like all the content adds up to be $40. You can pick pieces, right? But it's all digital. So like Derek says, so the server's gone, that's gone. You better have like all that stuff backed up on your disk drive. But yeah, I think I would pick $100 too. Now that you mentioned it, it's like, yeah, no, I would like everything to be included in one physical disc. I'd like just having that completeness. I'll pay extra for it, even if I don't necessarily care for all the content in that $40 whatever that includes, right?
I'm starting a poll. Feel free to add your responses back there, and we'll take a look at that later. But yeah,
Heck yeah.
add your comments after the show if you're watching this later. But for people who are live, we'll talk about what
Yeah.
what the options are.
Give us your rationale in your
Yes,
comments.
for sure.
All right. One last comment though. Actually, are you done with this one before I move on?
Yeah, I'm done with this one.
Okay. So the last one is from Carl Mixed Videos, who said NieR Replicant version 1.2247448739 is actually so named because that number is equal to the square root of 1.5. So I don't know what to take from that other than it's not 2, it's somewhere in between 1 and 2. So we can't call it 1.5.
I think it means if you play it twice, then it counts as playing a half sequel.
Oh jeez. At the root of the events between the first and second NieR games, perhaps, which given a bit of extra story content might make sense. I don't know. I think you're simultaneously reading too much into it, but also probably correct.
I was gonna say that's a stretch, but like you're thinking a lot into it. But so did Yoko Taro.
So did Yoko Taro. So, exactly. So I'm just like, yeah, you're probably on the money on that one. So thank you so much for sharing that thought there, Carl.
Absolutely.
Much respect.
Now,
all right.
We didn't end up getting any voicemails this week, but if you would like to leave us a voicemail to have us listen to it on the show, you can do so. The phone number on your screen at 785-337-3805. Or you could also, if you're international, just want to skip the international dialing fees, you could also send us a voicemail file to HitPoint at superderekRPGs.com.
Heck yeah.
So that about does it for comments from last week. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the updates to some past releases, or really just one. And that's related to Atelier Ryza 3.
Yes.
Because Gust have just announced the 6th and final DLC for Atelier Ryza 3. This DLC will unlock a new region called the Ashram Baird outlaying areas where you can find new quests and new crafting materials. Also, it's free. Free.
Okay, see, this kind of stuff throws like a wrench in this entire thing, right?
It kind of does.
Yeah. There's also the free DLCs that they throw at us sometimes, and not just like, oh, here, have a hat. It's like, no, like, here, have a whole region. But it's free.
Right. I know.
Dang it. You make it so difficult to hate you, game developers. Yeah.
So that's the difference between, I think, good guy game developers and let's be real, like EA, right? I mean, or Activision, or like
I don't know if you remember this, but like there was this survey done some years ago, like when Star Wars Battlefront 2 was like still a new thing. I think that year, like EA won like worst company in America, beating out Big Oil and big banks, which is insane. How do you like?
I thought that the worst company award for a long time went to Comcast. The cable,
Comcast?
Yeah, Comcast, the internet and cable company. But
interesting.
I think now that you mention it, though, I am starting to recall a time that a game developer got roasted
worst company
by the internet.
On Reddit? Ooh. Oh man, that was legendary. That downvote on what was it? I think it was Star Wars Battlefront 2. People were complaining that someone did the math and they're like, oh, it takes this much hour to get like Darth Vader, like, within reason. And then they're like, well, you're not really supposed to get all the characters, but it's a fully priced game. Yeah, so
Yeah.
people were
Yep.
not happy. It was
Yeah.
downvoted to oblivion. Uh,
Man, people are
man.
some companies, man. So yeah, but point is, Gust is doing pretty good as far as
Yeah.
leveraging technology and modern trends as far as they go, adding free DLC to a game that you only paid 70 for. Ryza 3, was that a $70 game? I want to say it was. That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
it's still 60.
Still 60. Okay.
It's
All
only
right.
one. Well, it's not. It's 25% right now on Steam apparently.
There you
So
go.
and it is $60 according to Nintendo. So yes.
All right. Well, hey,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Get
Yeah.
it while the getting's good.
Get it. Get it.
So that
All
does it
right.
for the updates. So we do have a couple games coming out this week, though, that are
Oh my
worth noting.
god. You and I are both extremely excited for these two. So we'll take one each, right? It's only fair.
Yeah.
The first game that we want to talk about is from the developers Dratzy Games, who have announced that their upcoming 2.5D, their words, not mine, turn-based RPG called Alterium Shift will be entering early access for Steam for July 6th. This game will have 3 branching narratives starring 3 different characters: Pyra, Atlas, and Sage. And we've got a trailer for that early access that we can look at. Let's take a look.
All right. Let's give that a gander here. I should probably turn
that
that
music.
down a smidge. So these are the guys that made a beautiful game that just... I saw this and had to see it again and again.
You know, the
And
running animation has that, like...
It's got that authentic look to it, I think.
It has the old school Trial of Mana, like, run to it. I don't know what it is about it.
I think it's the fact that they hold on a certain frame. Like, they don't add extra frames. They don't make it too bouncy, but they hold for an extra frame at just like the stride, and it really adds to it, I think.
It's very endearing. It just brings me back. Music's phenomenal. Oh, look, a world map.
Oh man.
When's the last time we saw a game with a world map?
Okay, so yeah, that game I just want to rewatch the trailer over and over. Now it's not actually out, but it is in early access, and I'm just excited enough about it to talk about it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't normally cover this sort of thing, but we chose to.
Heck yeah. Yeah, so it is definitely coming. Wish listed. Wait until what is it, the 6th? Which is in 3 days. So, but we also got some pretty cool stuff from Dratzy Game, who have provided us with 2, not 1, but 2 keys that we're going to be giving away. So, Derek, what you want to tell the good people what the rule to this game is?
Yeah, so these are the best rules I could come up with the like half hour that I had before the show, and I had to really think about it. So, the way I thought about it, Baku and I really want to help grow the channel and just kind of get more eyes, get more viewers here. It'd be really great. So in order toward that end, what I'd like to do is we're going to do 2 different drawings here. And in order to do that, we're going to do one during the show here at the beginning and then one at the end. And the only thing that I can think of that could really help with that is if you happen to have a Twitter, go retweet the go live notification that I sent out there on my Twitter. You know what? If I was thinking this ahead, I should.
I got you. I know what you're about to do.
Okay, throw that in the chat. Going. Okay, yeah, just go retweet that and just and that's how I will verify when the time comes. That's how I'll verify that that you did it. Yeah, because it's public, and then I will attempt to DM you. If you are the winner, and I will DM you the key to the game. So that's how we'll do it. We'll do it once in the middle of the show here. I'll say right around. Yeah, we'll do one right around.
How about right after Nintendo?
Yeah. Right after right after that, we'll do one, and then we'll do one at the very tail end of the show. So you have two options, two chances. So go ahead and yeah, if you would like to get one of these keys for free in your inbox, go ahead and send the retweet, and you'll be doing the show a solid in the process. So very much appreciated, guys. Hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much again, Drasty Games, for sending us those keys.
That's right. Now, I will also say that the next game, a lot of you are already super familiar with, and I'm pretty dang familiar with it at this point as well. Yeah. Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie is coming out here very soon on the 7th. Originally, it was released in Japan in 2020 as Eiyu Densetsu Hajimaru no Kiseki.
Yes. I wrote that just so he would read it.
The original worldwide release of Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie is finally coming out this week. Finally, on the 7th. And I put out a video earlier this weekend talking about basically for everybody who's already played all the Trails games. But it's been a little while because Cold Steel 4 came out a little while ago. Just as a quick refresher to catch you back up to speed with what's going on, just kind of a thing that talks about all of the major story beats that will probably be relevant going into Reverie. So if you feel like you are just a little rusty on your Trails, what do you call it? I don't know, information, history. Yeah, you can go watch that and get caught back up to speed. That one was sponsored by NISA also, which was super cool of them. But we also have a trailer for the show, or for the game, that we can watch right now as well. So let's go ahead and watch that one, which might have minor spoilers for anybody who hasn't played through Azure or Cold Steel. Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. It's hard to say with these trailers. So let's go ahead and if you just look away, I think if you need to. All right,
yeah, come back in like 2 minutes or something. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll watch this.
This trailer looked so.
It's
so good. It's so.
Oh my gosh.
The very picture of a hero.
Oh my god.
When is my Zero in Azure coming?
When are you gonna play Zero in Azure?
At some point in the distant future.
In the distant future. Oh my gosh.
Must be free for Crossbell to have true freedom.
Let me see when they're supposed to send that to me, because I bought it from VGP. Remember that one time when I said they are reprinting, and I was like, oh yeah, go get it. Well, I bought it.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure.
I just don't know when they're sending it to me.
When the print is done, I guess.
I've given them my money.
It's still in the printer. So
It's still in the printer. It's unfulfilled. They don't tell me what. Oh, sold out. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Arrival late July 2023. Okay.
Late July. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, at least it's still on the way, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's still coming sooner than chain memories. I'll tell you that.
Oh man.
That's Q3.
Yep.
So those are like the new characters, right?
I think so. I don't recognize them. So, but that's also kind of not saying a whole heck of a lot. I've been getting a lot of questions about how much of the Trails games I've actually beaten when I put out my video talking about the recap. That might be a fun little diversion topic to talk about here pretty soon, I guess.
Man. Get on!
Ah, man. Noelle's such an awesome character. I like her so much. She's one of my favorites from the Crossbow games.
So I will say this though, like you can definitely tell that this game came out like some time ago. Because if you look at like the new East 10 cinematography, is like so much better. They've really improved in like the last couple years.
Yeah.
And
From a like matter of fidelity, visual fidelity, it looks very similar to Cold Steel 4.
Yeah.
Like very similar engine, I'm thinking very so yeah, for people who have been maybe a little curious about how far I've actually gotten, because I've only put out a review of Cold Steel 1. I have finished Cold Steel 2. I have not yet fully finished Cold Steel 3. So here's why I decided I needed to put together a video. This is an idea that I pitched to NISA for the sponsored video. And they said, yeah, that sounds really great. Let's do that. And I was like, all right, let's do that. And then let's just power through Cold Steel 3 and try to power through Cold Steel 4. And then I'll be ready. I can do everything, right? And then some, computer upgrades happened. And then some like inability to capture footage for a while happened. And then being out of town for a while. Like things happened that just prevented that from happening in a timely manner. And then
life happened.
Life got in the way.
Life happened, yeah.
But it occurred to me that once upon a time, Super Derek RPGs put out a YouTube video saying, do spoilers actually matter? And my position was, no, they don't. Even like as long as like you are willing to be spoiled, they honestly don't. And that's backed by scientific studies that have gone to show that people actually enjoy games, or not games, but books, when they know what the twist is at the end.
Science.
Right? Science. So in this case, I was like, okay, I'm out of time. Time for me to put my money where my mouth is and practice what I preach, right? Because it's easy to be like, spoilers don't matter really. But then when it's a game series that you are 6 deep into and you're like, I could just spoil myself for the next 3 games. Sure, why not? Like it's a different feeling. But I will say though, that the experience of doing that has actually got me more excited to finish my playthrough of 3. And I cannot wait to play 4. I am so incredibly excited. This series just goes completely bonkers. And obviously there's so much more than what I could possibly have read through a summary to actually like to experience, right? There's so much more to these games that like I barely glossed over. Like I hit the major story beats of like, oh, who died, who got thwarted, what's the status, where are the pieces on the board, but there's so much character development that just cannot be like captured in something like that. And honestly, that's where the Trail series just absolutely shines. So
every NPC has 2 dialogue per meeting, and then once a major event happens, they have 2 new dialogues.
I know. It's kind of ridiculous.
You have to catch up with the NPCs. Like, so what you been up to, bro? Like, it's been a week. How are you?
I mean, I haven't been keeping up with the NPCs too much because that's not how I generally play games. But maybe someday I will. But right now, man, I'm just enjoying the heck out of Cold Steel 3. And it's starting to get a little cool. I mean, it was already a lot of fun, but now it's starting. I can feel that we're like at the edge of like the tip of the roller coaster and things are just about to go crazy.
Can I share you my retirement plan?
Sure.
My retirement plan is to move to Japan and replay the entire Trail series. Hopefully by then, by the time I retire, it would be complete. And I will talk to every single NPC and just until they run out of dialogue choices. Every time that there's a new major arc, I will go back to the NPC. I'll talk to them again.
Yeah.
I will exhaust every single line.
For your retirement, you should play the Trails VR remakes and that actually require you to talk to people like physically and you'll just fully immerse yourself in the world of Trails.
Oh, they'll be AI powered by then.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
The Falcom doesn't even have to write the lines anymore. They just write the personality and just like let it happen.
I know. Infinite dialogue.
Oh my god, procedurally generated.
Oh no. Sounds like a certain level of hell. All right. So we are way off topic. So I'm going to steer us right back into the games that were just announced this week. Well, I mean, no, maybe not this week, but you know what I mean. New game announcements. Baku, go.
New game announcements. Yes. Okay. So we've got one game that I wanted to talk about because I know that there's a certain demographic here who might really care, and then there's a certain demographic who might not care about this. But it is from developer Lucky Cat, and this is a new otome RPG called The Silent Kingdom. For those uninitiated, otome games are pretty popular in Japan. They typically star. It's otome literally translates to a maiden, so it's basically a game that's made so that you can romance these really handsome fellows in these typically visual novels, right? And as you know, RPGs, at least JRPGs, have roots in visual novels. So it's actually kind of bizarre to me that there hasn't been more ultimate RPGs. But we're starting to see an uptick in those. So it's very interesting to me to follow this trend. And
now, when
one
you
of
say
such game,
otome, would you like to clarify for the people who are less weebly at home, like the people
Sure.
who, yeah, let's.
So Ultimate Games is not a dating sim because dating sim implies that you are actually going on dates with characters and actually picking choices, limited though it may be, like, oh, what will you do today? Will you go on a date with this person? Will you call that person? When you go on a date, will you buy them
Right.
ice cream? Will you take them to the park? Like, that's an actual dating simulation. Ultimate Game is different. Ultimate Game is literally a visual novel. All the pieces are set. You do have some choices as far as like how you respond to the story, but not unlike an RPG where you go to like a branching dialogue and they're branching paths.
So you're saying
right?
that dating sims have a lot more sim to them.
Yeah, like literally it's a dating simulation.
Yeah.
Like you go on a date,
So
you
it's a
pick
word that kind of gets
choices.
thrown around a little bit, but ultimate
Yeah.
is more visual
This is
novel.
a visual novel, yeah.
That happens to maybe have some romance involved, right?
Oh no, it absolutely always have romance
Okay,
involved. Usually many handsome fellows in your otome game. So that's the big difference between the two. And so again, because JRPG has roots in visual novels, it just kind of makes sense that there would be RPGs that are based on otome games where you would play as the female protagonist and you can romance the fellows that you can travel with. So in this such a game, you will play as the princess of Erinys, and you can develop romantic relationships with two companion characters you can travel with. And words in the street is that there will be a third character that you will be able to romance with sometime in the future, and that matters. That's one whole extra character that you can travel with. But yeah, let's take a look at it. Actually, the game looks pretty good.
All right. Let's pull that up here.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised that this is not more of a mainline game because otome games is really popular in Japan, and RPGs are really popular too. There's definitely a crazy huge overlap between like people who enjoy ultimate games and people who enjoy RPGs. I mean, we have plenty of
The art
RPGs
is
with a bunch of
incredible.
waifus. So, ultimate RPG is really just a reverse of that. It's not a crazy idea that we haven't done play with. We're just calling it a thing.
Yeah,
The music's nice, the art's nice.
absolutely. It's a beautiful looking game. What does the combat look like though?
Probably turn-based. Oh, they showed it a little bit. It's kind of like DQ kind of style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's probably not the focus here, huh?
Yeah, probably not. But I'd like to see that this is sort of like the beginning of a trend where like it becomes more sophisticated as it becomes a more solidified idea. There are more people who like you can't necessarily want a thing if you didn't know that thing exists.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you create the category, an otome RPG, and it starts picking up steam, then other indies developer will be like get imaginative and they'll like one up each other. And then before you know it, like a major like RPG maker will be like, you know what? We already make otome games. Why not we just make an otome game with RPG? I don't know. I'm looking at you, Axis. Like Axis makes a lot of otome games, by the way. And they also have RPGs. So it's just like, well, why don't you just put the two together?
Yeah.
You know,
no, you got peanut butter in my chocolate. Hey, you got chocolate in my peanut butter.
there, I mean, there are other like visual novel heavy RPGs like Utawareru Mono, right? Like that's extremely popular, great story, and no one, would bat an eye to say, oh, that's a terrible game. It's like, no, everyone who has ever played Utawareru Mono tells me how much I need to play it. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of visual novels. Like, yeah, but it's a really good story. It's like, okay, fine. So I bought the whole series. It was on discount. It was like $30 for the entire thing.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
So no release date yet on this game. It is currently been developed for the Switch and PC via Steam. Demo is available on Steam where you can play through the entire Chapter 0 prologue. So if that interests you, take a gander. See what that's like.
All right. Well, next up we have several games from the Nintendo Direct that happened a couple weeks ago that I put out a video talking about. But what if I told you that I have been keeping some games secret from you guys? I'm hiding something. And this is one of those games that I've been hiding from all of you. The Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Hidden Treasures of Area Zero DLC. Starting off with a major expansion to the newest mainline Pokemon game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Hidden Treasure of Area Zero DLC will come in 2 different parts. The teal mark and...
Oh, sorry, it's a teal mask.
The teal mask.
Dang, we were just talking about that earlier.
I know, we totally did. That's okay. The teal mask and the indigo mask. Yeah. You can tell I totally love and just absolutely love to talk about Pokemon. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Pokemon trailer that they dropped with it because let's just see what this is all about.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? So, okay. So say what you want about Pokemon, but despite all the what is it called? Despite all the issues with performance for this title, I've been told by a lot of people, and all grown-ups too.
Yeah. Have they been fixed?
No, that this story was so good. They can't believe this is a Pokemon game.
Really?
Yeah. And this is all coming from like just grown people who are all like, RPG enjoyers. And they're just like, I cannot believe that the story hit me this hard. This is a Pokemon game. It has no business hitting my feels like this.
Okay.
I saw a glimpse of it. Like I kind of know what they're talking about. Yeah.
Because that's been my main reason for, honestly, like I like the concept of Pokemon. Like I would say I'm a Gen 1er, but I'm really more of a Gen 2er. And that's the thing. It's like I like RPGs and the stories that they tell, and combat is interesting, but if it doesn't have a good story to hook me in, I'm checked out in 10 hours. I mean, which is plenty, right? That's probably almost enough to finish a Pokemon game if you're just going for the badges and stuff. But
I am definitely a Gen 1er,
maybe I'm making generalizations. I haven't played a Pokemon game since X and Y.
The last game that I really enjoyed was Arceus, just because it was so different. Not much of a story to speak of. It was like the polar opposite. It was like, the story is just meh. But the gameplay was so good.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It's just the lack of any real story from most of the Pokemon games that I've ever played that have just kind of left me feeling lukewarm. right?
Black and White had a pretty good story. It's just they weren't willing to commit. They asked this really important question in the game, and then they just like left it.
Okay.
They just go like, I guess we just won't have a resolution for this. Like, wait, what? It's just...
What was the question? Like, is it a spoiler to?
Oh, it's not really a spoiler. It's a question that everyone asks, like, if they really think about Pokemon. Is it right to capture a living sentient being and just like force them into doing things? Or should we just free them all?
It's a very good question.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wow, this is like an existential like crisis kind of question for Pokemon. Like,
well, that's a question for you to think about. But in the meantime, we're going to be over here dogfighting monsters together.
Yeah, well, they pulled a typical like friendship trumps all kind of deal, and we're just like, you're still like forcing your good friend into a ball and commanding them to attack each other
to do combat.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, at least they're not fighting to the death. But anyways, so that was the Pokemon trailer, and sorry, we totally just kind of talked over it the entire time. But that's kind of what you get.
Yeah, that's what you get for this show. You didn't come here for the trailers. You come here for us.
But I mean, hearing though, honestly, that the new Pokemon game ups its emphasis on the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that has sparked my interest way more than any of the, mega evolutions or gargantuan Pokemon.
No interest in those. Yeah.
Like this is where I think Nintendo would do well to, I mean, and this is obviously from the perspective of me, the RPG nut, right? All I play is RPGs. Like I'm like, I don't blink at 100-hour RPG experiences. So like, that's me. I'm like, yes, give me the story. Other people though, I mean, Pokemon is obviously super, successful without my input. So yeah, maybe the fact of the matter is that other RPGs would be better served by focusing way less on the story.
I've always find this to be one of the most fascinating question or dilemma that these IP holders have, like Pokemon included. Yeah. Final Fantasy is one thing, right? So we talk about, hey, what makes a Final Fantasy? Right? Oh God, the $1 million question. What makes a Final Fantasy? What do you think makes the Final Fantasy? And different fan will have different different answer. And that's the question that happens when a series exists for long enough. It's been successful for long enough to exist for long enough that, and it continues to
evolve itself,
right, and change over time. So depending on who you ask, it's like, oh, which part did you jump into this bandwagon? Because that could very well influence your answer. But it's the same thing for Pokemon, right? It's the same thing for like things like Gundam or Marvel, even like any like long enough of a series where you have multiple generations of people who are partaking in this and enjoying this. To whom do you cater to, and how do you? What kind of strategy do you use so that you don't alienate old fans while you're still able to make new ones? Like, how do you do that? Like every one of these series have like a slightly different strategy. If you boil it down, Pokemon has a strategy of, well, you know what you can do is you can play Pokemon as an adult and you can play with your kids.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like their strategy.
I like the Dragon Quest strategy of screw everybody. I'm going to keep doing things my way. And it is the way that I will do things forever. Except for maybe 12, I don't know.
Well, I mean, they kind of changed in 11. Remember that? Where like they had voice acting for the first time.
They tinker around the edges, but like I think that they haven't really made a substantive change since 2 when they added multiple party members.
You get to pick between 2 separate wives in DQ5. Remember that?
That's true.
That's
3
that's huge.
in the remake.
3 in the remake, yes. No, but I don't even remember. But like, so people were complaining that there were no Japanese voice acting in DQ11. Remember?
Yeah.
And then they were like,
they added the.
Yeah, and so the creators were like, no, Japanese folks are used to shit, they don't need voice acting. Well, wouldn't you know it, they got voice acting for DQ11S, and then subsequently for the Definitive Edition, they had the voice acting. Wouldn't you know it? Guess what? People wanted the voice acting. I guess all the folks in Japan were like, no, actually, we kind of want voice acting. You just wouldn't give it to us. Hold on a second there, sir.
also to check onto the pile there, as like also no, actually we would also really like the orchestral versions of the music. Actually, that does sound pretty nice.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, could you not like exclude us from all those improvements? Thanks. So yeah, but you're right. Like, and just like every series has their ways of dealing with it. Pokemon has their own way, and back to point, they're making the story better so that the adults don't feel alienated from the series, right?
And
but it's still
that is good.
primary target towards kids. So I think that's fine. We'll see how well that goes. One day people will be like, "Oh, this is not a Pokemon game." Just wait.
Oh,
give
I'm
it 10
sure.
years.
Oh
yeah.
my God, So to bring it back around, the 2 DLCs that were announced for Pokemon here were available in 2 different parts. The Teal Mask, which will release in fall of 2023, and then part 2, the Indigo Mask, will release in winter of 2023. So keep your eyes peeled for
all
those.
the fans. For all the fans. All right. So, oh boy. So we're talking about the Nintendo Direct announcements. We're not going to talk about every single game that came out in that announcement because, man, there were a lot of announcements. But if you saw that Nintendo Direct, you know what's coming up. Now, this one is the game that at least I didn't expect. I don't know about Derek, but I truly did not expect this one whatsoever. And that is the remake of the Super Nintendo game Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars, now simply known as just Super Mario RPG. I'm kind of upset that they dropped that title. Legend of 7 Stars sounds so cool. Why would you do that? But you know what they aren't changing? The composer. Shimamoto Yoko will be back to work on the music for this game, which is amazing. And for anyone who does not know who Shimamoto Yoko is, think Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 15, the original
Breath of Fire.
The original Super Mario RPG. She's that composer.
This was Yoko Shimamoto's, or the original was Yoko Shimamoto's first RPG that they composed for, and they loved it so much they quit Nintendo, went to work for Capcom to work on Breath of Fire, and then they've worked on RPGs ever since.
Legend of Mana.
So cool.
Do you guys remember that one? Yeah, that's the Shimamoto Yoko.
That's right.
All right, let's take a look at that trailer from Nintendo Direct.
So it's like at this point you're like, it's coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah, that's cool.
Right. That's what I thought. I was like, what is this? And then right there, and I was like, oh no, don't tell me. Yep.
Ah!
Okay. Yep. I see where you're going with this.
Wouldn't that be just like an incredible way to announce Gino for Smash?
Everybody's there. Still no Waluigi, but you know. Hey, support Gino. Yay.
This is so exciting.
I know. I'm finally going to play this game.
In the bottom left corner, there's that percentage meter. What do you suppose that is?
Fever meter.
Fever meter. What is that?
I think so. Yeah. Kind of like some limit break party attack kind of deal, I think.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, getting hit doesn't increase.
Yeah.
But attacking people increases.
Seems that way.
You see that?
Yeah.
When you get hit, it doesn't go up. But when you hit people, it goes up.
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So they're not just doing the straight port, because that's pretty new.
Oh, this is a remake. This is not a remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just leaving it where it started, is what I'm saying. Like,
I respect it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see this. I feel like
I am
this is going to be
definitely
a
gonna
great
play it
way
now.
for a lot of people to experience this game for the first time, and to re-experience it. I mean, I think it's a little. It's for certain people. I think it'd be hard to go back to Super Mario RPG on the SNES. It's
I
pretty
can't.
pixelated. It's still pretty, but I think that for certain people who
Mhm.
didn't grow up with the SNES, that's going to be, you know, it's going to be.
And I grew up with it too, and I still can't do it. That's
It's-
just me. That's a me problem.
I think it's kind
Yeah.
of part of the work, the process that they did to like make the sprites using the
Mhm.
silicon graphics, like 3D models and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a factor of that just doesn't age as gracefully as things like Chrono Trigger, you know? But
Yeah, I mean, I think it. Look,
super
don't get me
impressive for the
wrong. I think
time.
it looks good. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think it still looks good. I just can't bring myself to go back to Super Nintendo unless I played it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will play it this time for sure. Like, if look, last year, if you told me, yeah, you're gonna be playing a Super Nintendo game. Well, I mean, it's not Super. You're gonna play a Super Mario game in like 2023, 2024. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yo,
Get real.
right. Me playing a Mario game, yeah, okay, buddy. But yeah, but I'd be wrong because I'm totally gonna play this. And you know when this game's gonna come out?
When?
2023 in November 17th, 2023. That is
That's
only on the Switch. Yeah, which is
only 4
crazy.
months away.
Yeah. Can you believe? Wow.
Can you-
Hearing an announcement and being able to play the game within 6 months.
And it not being leaked like way in advance. Man,
Crazy.
It's like 2016 all over again.
Amazing. You didn't know that could happen. But yeah, so there you go, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we have another game here from Marvelous and Xseed Games that have announced a brand new RPG farming sim IP called Silent Hope. You can play as 7 heroes who will break the magic, the powerful magic the king had cast into the kingdom that took away people's abilities to speak.
Yes. And Silent Hope.
Let's see.
I take it as this is a way for them to justify silent protagonists.
No voice acting.
No voice acting.
One day, a once peaceful realm was silenced.
Ironically, the trailer has voice acting.
7 wordless warriors.
Well, the princess can talk in the trailer, but then
okay.
the main characters cannot, I think.
These heroes bound by fate
I don't know how they communicate. Just write to each other?
and find
Oh.
the king.
Yeah, I would probably just write notes or
Changing dungeons
you know,
foes
sign language maybe.
will be no easy feat. Wield
I think
weapons
that's-
like swords
something that they could easily like overcome.
to survive
Yeah.
this deadly
Just
Be like,
no
it'd be
voice
an
acting.
inconvenience. No more phone calls.
No more phone calls.
Everybody just has to text message each other now.
Oh,
Is this,
look at
are
the
we sure this is
farming.
a curse or is this a oh yeah,
A
look at
blessing.
that. Right?
Yeah, you can farm and then you can like do alchemy, you can cook things, you can craft things. The princess is talking.
princess encased in a crystal of her own tears, and through a mysterious
So
This looks kind of like the what's that game?
I was thinking Bravely Default-ish, like as far as
yeah,
character models
Bravely
go.
Default kind of. Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see it. So this is definitely not your like AAA title, but for your friends who likes Rune Factory, maybe like those kind of people this is definitely like a game for those folks who really enjoy like Rune Factory or what's that one other game that had like a pretty good amount of RPG mechanics and it's also like
Harvestella?
Harvestella, yeah, like that sort of that group of folks I think will definitely enjoy this new title. This is a new IP. So and again, and maybe this is just like a Nintendo thing, but it actually has a release date that's within 6 months. And this one is coming out soon, right?
That's right. You can look forward to that on October the 3rd, and it's coming out on Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam.
Man, like maybe this is why I prefer Nintendo Direct.
That's
I
right.
see it, I'm like, oh, it's probably coming out soon. All right. The next one we've got is a little game called Dragon Quest. I don't know. You might have heard of that. It's
Dragon Quest, like
Dragon Quest.
so,
Yeah.
like you're a dragon going on a quest.
It's also known as Dragon Warrior. It's very confusing.
So yeah, it's a dragon who is a warrior that is going on a dragon quest.
Exactly. That's
Makes
exactly
sense.
it.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay, so some time ago, Square Enix hinted at a new title for the 25th anniversary celebration for the Dragon Quest monsters, which is crazy that it's 25th anniversary. All these like things I'm growing up with now are like, oh, 20th anniversary, 30th anniversary. It's like, oh, geez, stop.
I mean,
stop.
Zelda's
Stop.
35th wasn't too long ago.
Oh, stop. Anyways, so 25th anniversary celebration with Dragon Quest Monsters. We now know what that game is by its title, Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. In this new title, you will play as Zaro. I think it's Zaro. It's like Psaro.
Yeah.
Who is cursed to not be able to harm anything with monster blood. However, that does not stop him from taming monsters to do his biddings. So
I mean,
there's a way around that one.
Okay, well, you know what? Suddenly, it sounds like we have a motive, at least that the one
Yeah.
character really has to like train monsters to like do his bidding, like
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like just the thrill of the dogfight, right?
Oh, you mean Pokemon?
Yeah.
Nintendo is never sponsoring us to do anything.
No.
We burned that bridge.
I mean,
okay.
that was never happening, and we both know it.
Dang it. Okay, but we do have a trailer, so let's take a look.
All right, let's.
You really think you stand a chance against us?
I mean, like in this world, like monsters are attacking people, right? So it's like
Yes.
these are bad monsters that you need to defeat, and that makes sense. Like you suddenly have like a righteous motive. Like I feel like it gives you like enough of like a pass to like turn a blind eye to the fact that you're having monsters fight on your behalf.
The monsters just got like body checked.
Oh man,
Combine monsters.
that Dragon Quest music, combining
Yep.
monsters, borrowing a little feather from the cap of SMT there, eh?
Oh no, not SMT. Monster Rancher.
Monster Rancher? Did that
Monster
one
Rancher,
start?
yeah.
Oh, SMT's been around much longer.
No, I meant like, in a sense where you combine a monster and you get like the traits of both. If that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, yes. That's cool.
yeah.
I gotta say, I love that they're including the hero from Dragon Quest IV there, or it looks like him.
Yes.
Dragon Quest IV, I feel like doesn't get enough love, and
I don't
that's-
know how many people caught that.
That's one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah.
Is Dragon Quest IV, because I feel
Yeah.
like that was the game where Dragon Quest became actually Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest V suddenly came along
Mm.
then on the SNES, and like it's like, oh, this is an incredible story, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, look at the new hotness, right? But Dragon Quest IV was, oh, it was so good. Like
So good.
3 was like the very first one that started to feel like Dragon Quest.
Mhm.
You know, it was the
4 really solidified it to you.
four knocked it out of the park in my book.
Mm.
I think 4 is better than 3, but I feel like 3 gets a lot more fan service because it was the breakout. I mean, even more of a breakout than most, right? So it was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like 4 just kind of is the forgotten, stepchild of the series. But this game is it's one of my favorites, honestly. So anyways, to see the hero from them in this game has me very excited.
Man, I can't wait until they do the remake of. I'm really waiting for DQ5 remake, like not like the DS one, but like a full-on console remake.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's the DS one. I get it, but I need like a console remake, please. Yeah. So, talking about games being available within this year, this one is coming out December 1st, 2023. I forgot where I found that date. I was looking around and they were
Okay.
like, oh, coming soon. No, but I found the actual date is December 1st. Oh, no, I think it's the Square Enix website.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, as I was doing research. Yeah. So the date is December 1st, 2023, and
Mhm.
pre-order is available now on the Switch only.
Nice.
For now, I think.
Yeah,
It's totally coming out on PlayStation sometime soon.
probably.
Yeah.
So, that's all cool and everything, but forget everything because the real story is just about to get started, and that is that Star Ocean: The Second Story R was finally announced at that Nintendo Direct, and oh my God, was it
Yeah.
ever a sight to behold. Baku and I talked about this. This was our headline last week. The leak as big as an ocean, as it were, the leak of the Star Ocean, as it were. This had me so excited. We didn't know what the form would take. I was speculating about how maybe it was, the PSP game or the Vita game that was getting Nintendo Switch port. Like, oh yeah, finally, that's cool. We finally got it. No, what we got is way better. So yeah, I'm going way off of whatever Baku wrote. Like, yeah, screw that.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, whatever you wrote doesn't matter. Whatever.
I wrote that so you don't have to think about it. But
No,
hey.
I'm thinking so much about this right now, guys, because this game, I loved it when I played the original PS1 release. This game was a lot of fun, and
Yes.
the more that I played it, I was live streaming it actually, and a lot of people clued me into a lot of the little things that I was just completely overlooking.
Such as?
Like being able to like equip a certain item that allows you to steal from every NPC in the game, for instance. Like there's this whole thieving mechanic that you can do during private events, which is where you leave the rest of your posse. You split up basically when you go into town, and you can steal items from your crew and then equip that on them later. And it's like way better gear than what they were using prior. It's really weird. But
So you're saying Octopath Traveler has some inspiration?
yes, I even said it in my review that Reina was stealing items from little kids before Therion was cool. Oh yeah. And there's also like a cooking mechanics, there's crafting mechanics, and not just like crafting, but like armory. Like you can like smelt ore and then you can turn that into different kinds of weapons and armor and stuff.
Yeah.
There's the musical symphonic orchestra, like things that you can do. Like it's so wild how crazy expansive this game was for like what it could do at the time. Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
and here's the thing is like it was finished. They released it. It didn't like get bogged down into development hell. They actually released a finished product that was incredible. Even if you overlook all of these other things, it was like something like over 100 different endings.
Wait, what? No way.
Depending on like various character interactions, like certain characters will hook up at the end. Like not just like the main character, but like other party members will like hook up with each other depending on like events that you do with them and your party or not. And like it's so expansive, and it just feels like the sort of thing that should have like crumbled under its own weight. But the game actually finished, which makes this like the fact that this is getting remade at all is pretty dang wild. And the fact is that they're actually doing it in it is not HD 2D. I was informed. It is.
It is not HD 2D.
It is something like that. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't know what they're actually calling it. But basically, it looks so cool, man. It's the next iteration, in my opinion, of HD 2D. And we have a trailer for it that we can watch, and you can see this thing in action because this has me absolutely, absolutely excited.
Absolutely psyched.
So
Yeah,
psyched that I slipped into a British accent for a second. Don't you hate it when that happens?
Sometimes,
that.
man. Sometimes.
Ah, it's just super, like, the backgrounds are fully, like, nice. Like, they are polygonal, like, so it's not, it's fully interactive. It's like high resolution backgrounds, but with beautiful pixel art sprites.
Yeah, I think I would have actually preferred them to have full pixel.
You would
Like,
have probably preferred that?
yes,
Okay. That's
yeah,
fine.
and the only reason is because, like, it's just clashed really hard for me. I'd rather they pick one or the other. Like, either go pixel in the background with the 3D, or just do 3D.
I'm good
like,
with this.
Yeah.
It feels to me kind of like if, like, suppose that there was this path, this fork in the road where game development could have gone left or it could have gone right. And the direction that we went brought us here. But if this other branch of, like, RPG development had gone in this direction, like the direction of Grandia or Xenogears, as far as, like, the 3D planes with the 2D characters, if, like, they just are like, yeah, you know what, character sprites look better, let's stick with sprites. Who needs character modeling and rigging? It's just a whole lot of overhead. Let's just go with the a 3D world, and then just stick to pixels, because pixels are justice, right?
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
I'm
this
actually,
looks like to me.
well, see, that's the thing. I'm actually good with that. Like, 2D pixel art on a 3D environment, that's
Yeah.
fine. It's the way that they did the 3D. If it was 3D with the pixels, that matches the characters, like,
Yeah.
better. But, like, it's just like the background's so smooth and perfect, and then all the characters are, like, little blocky.
But that's
It's
kind of
like,
how like Grandia was. If you go back and look at it, I mean, I don't know if you ever played Grandia, but
I did
the
not.
like the
Maybe
pixel
that's
art,
why.
the pixel art in that was, like, way lower res than, like, the
environment?
environments, because the environments could
Mm.
actually have raster. I mean, like, it had vector graphics, right? Like,
Mhm.
well, vector graphics. It had polygons that could rotate to a, fine degree. So it's like it wasn't super pixelated.
Mm.
I mean, the textures were, but the rest of the world was not, right?
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
so anyways,
I'm
point is,
still
I think it
excited
tracks.
for this.
I think it matches that style a little
Era?
better. Yeah, that era.
No, what's always got me thinking about this series, at least, like Star Ocean, is if you look at the past couple of games, what's the one game? Okay, if I have to ask you, pick one game that always gets compared to Star Ocean, what would you say it is?
Tails.
Right. So, and now you look at Tales, right? Like, you look at their like humble origin between the two series, and, like, honestly, I thought Star Ocean did it better, like, back then.
Yeah.
Right, in the same era. Like, if you compare apples to apples, right? Like, I thought Star Ocean looked better, but at some point,
I mean,
Tales just kind of took over.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's like, what the heck happened to you, Star Ocean? Like, I had my money on you.
Being backed by Bandai Namco kind of tilts the scales in your favor.
But Square Enix, come on.
But they're not part of Square Enix. They had Square Enix as publishers.
Yeah, but that's where the money's from, is the publisher.
Yeah, but if the coin purse is a little tight, because Daddy spent it all on a movie.
Yikes! Oh, we're going there.
I mean, if we're asking the tough questions, because Daddy Squeenix or Daddy Squaresoft spent it all on a motion picture that bombed.
Let's just say that Bandai never messed up on a movie, right? Like,
No,
Bandai's
they
movies are always profitable. They own
Mhm.
Sunrise, if that means anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that if Tri-Ace had access to the full coffers of Sony, they could do some incredible work. But just, the purse strings were a little tight for a while, and then they evolved in separate paths, and that's how you get to where we are. Is you have, you know, you have a set of identical twins, and one went to go live with Daddy Daddy Warbucks, not Starbucks. That's different. the other went to Daddy Starbucks.
Man,
Daddy Warbucks on that side, Daddy Starbucks on the other, and then you have, you know, questions about why does this one look so much better, and why is this one so, you know, tweaky? Why is this one all hopped up on caffeine? Well, that's why.
Yeah, no, it every time I see a Tales game, and it's beautiful, like Tales of Arise.
Yeah.
Not to compete, not to put them into competition, but
you want them
every
to
time
be
I
the
s-
same. You want them to be able to
yeah.
compete on that same level,
I
right?
know, and it's like I play Star Ocean 6, and I bought Star Ocean 6
Yeah.
full price,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that Tri-Ace is in financial trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I could wait 6 months and just play it later, like all the other games in my backlog, and it'll be on discount. It'll be fine. But no, I bought it day one, full price, streamed it
Mm-hmm.
because I want to support them.
Yeah. And I hope they do well.
Yeah.
Are they involved with this remake? Did we happen to
I
see their logo or
Don't
not?
know. I didn't see Tri-Ace in this one, but you know what? I can look into that really quick.
Yeah, because I think that would be really nice if they were.
I don't think they are.
That's too bad,
I
man.
genuinely do not think they are.
Let's see. I don't see. Yeah, I don't see their logo in.
Yeah, I'll look into it real quick.
Oh man, I hope that they are, because I know that this would be such a good payday for them, but because Square Enix is the publisher who commissioned these games from Tri-Ace.
Yeah. They own the IP, and
Yeah, they don't
and
have to
everything.
have Tri-Ace on board to do this. Like,
Yep, just like what's that other game that just like a
Dragon
front
Quest, right?
mission? No, front mission.
No, I was
Like
gonna
they-
say. I was gonna say like
Oh,
Dragon
Valkyrie,
Quest,
Valkyrie Profile.
Valkyrie Profile.
I mean, the last
Okay.
Valkyrie Profile, they didn't make it with Tri-Ace.
Well, because I mean, a great example I thought is, Dragon Quest in general. At least prior to the Square Enix merger, because
Mhm.
prior to that, Enix was a publisher. They were not a developer.
That's true.
They had other companies develop games for them, like Dragon Quest 8, for instance, was developed by the people behind Ni no Kuni Level 5.
That makes
so-
sense. Yeah.
What's the other one that did?
I'm just glad that level 5 is doing just fine on their own.
Me too.
They're
Me
doing
too.
great, actually. And no, I do not see Tri-Ace logo anywhere in the in the website.
That's sad, man.
Actually, no. Oh, no. Original version developed by Tri-Ace Inc. That's it.
Sad.
It just says original version developed by Tri-Ace Inc. in the very bottom. But no, I don't think they're involved in this. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to say original version,
Yeah.
like specifically.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. Yikes.
I'm still gonna play the heck out of it.
Oh, me too.
On November 2nd, which is coming out on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo. PlayStation 4
you,
and 5,
Nintendo.
PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam. Pre-orders are available for. Pre-order is available with a standard edition and a collector's edition at the Square Enix store. So there's
Heck
two
yeah.
different versions, right? That's what you're saying.
That's standard and collector's edition. Yes.
And the collector's edition is like $5,000. Is that right?
Wait, what was that last limited edition that got me squirming? Oh, actually, no. I think it was Star Ocean. Hold on. It was like $200-ish, and I was like, "Yeah, not for me. Too rich for my blood. I
Yeah.
cannot afford this." Collector's edition, which is actually still available, and if you pre-order it now, it's $200. $200 comes with 4 CD set. Comes
that's
with
right.
like a thing, like an acrylic something or another.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on, let me read this through. 24-piece box sets of mini acrylic stands featuring pixel art of main characters from the game, including the 13 party members and the 10 wise men. Each acrylic piece is 8 mm thick and can stand on its own for easy display. The set also comes with a backdrop sheet that can be displayed together with the acrylic stands. For example, there's an art book.
I was gonna say,
and
so
it's-
far that's some very expensive acrylic.
yeah, 40 pages art book and a 4-disc original soundtrack with special collector edition sleeve case featuring all game tracks newly arranged by the legendary sound creator Motoi Sakuraba.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So it's a 4-disc CD thing and some acrylic stands and an art book, but it's soft cover, not hardcover.
And the soundtrack is CD, I take it, compact disc.
Yeah. CD.
All right.
CD.
Well,
Well. $200.
So earlier I announced that we'd be giving away a couple of those Steam keys for the game Alterium Shift, and we
Yes.
would be distributing those based off of retweets on Twitter. So I have several here.
Oh, your last chance is right now. You better
Oh, no, no.
retweet now.
Your last chance for the first drawing, but we're doing another one at the end of the show.
Yes.
All right. So
So while you do that, if you guys haven't had a chance to retweet, here's the link. There it is. I just posted in chat. This is the post that we want you to retweet, not like. Retweet. You can
I
also
mean-
like it.
I mean, likes don't hurt, but
Yeah,
all right.
but
And-
we're looking for retweets.
And this one goes to Yo-Yo the Dude. So
Hey.
see if I can send Yo-Yo a DM here with the first code from Dratzy Games.
Thank you so much for playing. And
Yeah.
thank you again, Dratzy, for giving us the code to give away.
Absolutely.
Much appreciated.
All right, so let me make sure that I have the doc up so I can. Gosh, oh, I had it in the other tab. Don't you hate it when that happens? You have, like,
Sometimes.
you're like looking for the other window, but you're like, hang on a second, it's just in the other tab on the window that I was already in.
It be like that sometimes.
All right, DM sent, and make sure it doesn't go to spam.
Hey.
All right. Sorry about that there. Now, let's go ahead and move along to, oh gosh, where were we? So let me
We
scroll
just
down.
finished Nintendo.
All right, we finished Nintendo. Okay. All right. So I think that means you're up here with our next one, right?
I am up here with the next one. All right. So we did finish. Actually, before we continue, again, that was one key giveaway. We've got another key, and we're gonna do that right after this set of game announcements. So if you haven't already done so, please head on over to that tweet and please retweet that tweet that
Huh.
Derek tweeted out
Helps
a
a
couple
lot.
hours ago. Yeah. All right. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the largest anime convention in North America had just happened over in LA this past weekend. In fact, it is actually still ongoing as we speak right now. And that is called the Anime Expo, or AX, over in California. And we've got a lot of game announcements coming from Anime Expo because, as you know, anime and games from Japan, yeah, there's a huge overlap in the fan base. And wouldn't you know it, there are game developers who would go to these conventions and try to make announcements there. Of course, the chief among those is Bandai Namco. And we've got some announcements there. But first, let's start us off with Idea Factory. They have just announced that their newest Neptunia game, called Neptunia Game Maker Revolution, will actually be coming to the West. A surprise to no one, but now it's official. with this new trailer that we can take a look in just a second. In this title, you will play as the older Neptunia, and you are tasked to bring previously defunct gaming studio to success.
All right.
Interesting premise as always. Yeah, let's take a look at that.
All right. Here we go. Oh, I have it muted. I need to unmute it. Hang on a second. There we
This
go.
is older. This is older Neptunia.
お待たせネプテューヌ社長参上
Oh, so I think this is the game where you collect game developers and you know you try to revitalize the company.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's the premise. Yeah.
I kind of love the idea of like collecting game developers and like like putting the band back together to like make new games.
Yes.
Imagine like hunting down the various people from like the Quintet developing agency and being like, all right, Tomoyoshi Miyazaki, I'm putting you back to work. You're making more games, making more RPGs. You are
I'm actually
Terranigma 2. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm actually kind of interested in this one because I'm kind of tired of the mainline Neptunia games, to be
Are
honest.
ya?
Like, well, because it's always the same characters, and like the goddesses are just always the most powerful ones. So truly, the other characters don't matter that much. Like, there's no point in trying to figure that out. And they are constantly rehashing the same jokes between the characters because they're still the same characters, right? They
Yeah.
add like one or two like new characters. This is the same jokes. It's just fine. They have gotten better over time. Like Neptunia V2, a really good game in its own right, even without all the fan servicey stuff. Now, this one, you have a kind of a new main character because this is not like the old Neptunia. This is like the older Neptunia. So this is like if you play the game, like she's like a distinct like alternative reality of herself that coexists with like the regular Neptunia. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, but let's just say that she's like
Sure.
a completely different entity.
Okay.
And so far in the game, it looks like all the other older characters like Noir and Blanc, like they're not in this game. So this is like a whole new cast
Okay.
starring older Neptunia. And that to me
It's changing the
feels
formula
like
enough.
right. I feel like I am way more inclined to play this than like another Neptunia game with you know the old cast. Not that I
Yeah.
don't like the old cast, but like after about 4 or 5 games, like I'm ready for a little bit of a change. So pretty excited for this one. This one is actually slated for a 2024 release, international. So not Japan, but international on PS4, 5, and the Switch. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to this.
All right. Well, next up, we've got a game from Bandai Namco that's coming out with a new Naruto game called Naruto Cross X Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections
Connections.
to celebrate their 20th anniversary of the anime's debut. So we have a trailer for that as well.
Yes.
Now, I know enough about Naruto that it is called Naruto, but what the heck is Boruto?
Boruto is the son.
His son?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Naruto is like old now, and he's the Hokage in the new series. Boruto is the son, and he's like the main character. See, this is Naruto, grown.
Will you go?
This is old man Naruto.
Oh, that's old man Naruto?
That's old man Naruto, yeah. He's the Hokage now.
How old is he now? Like 27? 28?
I mean, old
What-
enough to maybe even in his 30s.
One foot
He's
in
like
the grave.
old enough to.
Oh yeah, he's practically dead.
Yeah, he's practically dead.
In Japanese years, he is.
I
In
actually
anime
don't know
years,
how old
rather.
he is in the manga.
In anime years, anything over 29 is death sentence.
So
Dead man walking.
he was 12 when he started his adventure, right, or something
Yeah.
to that effect. I think his son is 12, so he has a 12-year-old son and a younger daughter named Hinata.
Okay.
No, it's not Hinata. Sorry. Crap. No, Hinata is the wife. Himawari. I think it's Himawari.
Anime will or
Yeah.
anime. The chat will tell you.
You know, yeah, chat will correct me like you don't know what you're talking about. I kind of don't. I don't read
We
Boruto,
truly don't.
so yeah.
We really don't.
I stopped with Naruto. Like at the end of Naruto, that was it. I did not go further.
I haven't actually watched Naruto, and I feel like at this point I really should. I'm starting to feel like my cred is like suspect if I don't watch Naruto at some point.
No, see, here's the thing. I felt like Boruto had like a pretty interesting premise.
Yeah.
But like it just didn't deliver as much as I'd like it to. So Naruto was an abandoned child, so to speak, right? And that's why he was up in all these mischief and yada yada. I mean, Derek doesn't know, but I'll give you like a very very quick, quick and dirty on Naruto. And he's in this village of ninjas, and he's like the troublemaker because he had no like parental figures. And the most revered person, the leader of the entire village, that's the Hokage, right? So
Yeah.
he's like, I want to be the Hokage, you know, and so on and so forth. And then after the entire first series, he finds out what happens to his parents. It's actually pretty well written, and then he does end up in fact becoming the Hokage by the time, you know, the Boruto series. But because he's so busy with work, he's also sort of neglecting his family, much the same way that he was sort of neglected. Although Hinata is there. Hinata is like his wife. Like his wife is there, but he's not there to be like the father figure that he wants to be as much as he wants to be for Boruto. So that was like an very interesting premise. It's like, yes, we want these things as a kid. We create these things, and then somehow we end up being that same person who fails on the thing that we couldn't provide to that we wanted for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I felt like that cut kind of deep. Like that's like a good premise, but
It's-
that's about it.
So basically, the Boruto is the song "Cats in the Cradle," but in anime form. Got it.
Yeah,
But with ninjas.
yeah. But that's about it. That's where I'm like, okay, yeah. The rest is like, meh.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah.
This game that we just showed the trailer for is slated for sometime in 2023 on PS4, PS5, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, S. It's also coming to Switch and PC via Steam. So basically everything. Yeah.
Everything because
your eyes
Bandai
peeled.
Namco.
Yeah.
You know what?
They can fund ports for days, man.
Dude, I respect Bandai Namco for pushing these games out, though. Like, say what you want about Naruto or whatever, but I mean, the fans are there. Otherwise, it wouldn't last this long. Same thing with Star Wars Online. Like, say what you want about Star Wars Online. The fans are there. Otherwise, they wouldn't be like 7 games deep and still counting, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one from Bandai Namco. A 2v2 action game based on a 2v2 action game based on the Shonen Jump series Jujutsu Kaisen, called Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash. The game will support 1 player locally and up to 4 players online, which sounds kind of fun. So let's take a look at that.
You bet.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen is one shonen anime that I haven't watched, but my friends were raving about.
Yeah.
I'll get to it one of these days.
Yeah,
I'm
me-
just
me
all
too.
shonen out, you know? But like, for anyone who would like shonen, a lot of people like this one.
Honestly, like shonen is my jam. I just haven't, for some reason or other, gotten into anything since Hunter x Hunter.
But that doesn't concern me. It's certainly not my fault.
So maybe I am.
Tell myself that.
Maybe I
All
am
shonen out.
Shonen out.
It's okay. We hit an age where we get shonen out.
No. I'm just saying, like, nothing compares. Like I would
Nothing
still
compares.
watch the heck. I would
Oh,
rewatch. I would
okay.
still rewatch Hunter x Hunter again and again if I had time. If I wasn't way behind on trails.
I heard that I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that the way that they have done female characters in this particular show is pretty badass. They
Good.
definitely know Sakura happening. You know.
Yeah.
I'll watch this one of these
Oh,
days.
that's pretty dang cool.
I'll watch it one of these days.
That looks cool. And maybe I'll watch it too someday.
Someday.
Maybe when I'm all caught up on my RPG backlog. You know.
You mean the ever-growing backlog? I'm very convinced that my backlog has already exceeded my remaining natural life. That is to say,
is that including the calculus of like how much shorter your life will be due to the sedentariness required to play the games?
I didn't even include that.
Oh no.
I didn't even include that. I'm pretty certain.
Gonna need to start playing games on a treadmill if I want to live long enough to
with the rate of which my backlog grows, especially. Like,
you know, I was actually talking to David Vink, who he says that that's what he does. He plays them like while walking on a treadmill. I mean,
that's what we should all do.
Honestly, it's a pretty awesome way to do it. I would get so many more steps in if I did that.
I might play games faster because I want to get off the treadmill.
Right?
Just get out, final boss, easy mode. I don't care. Just get me off the treadmill.
Suddenly you're skipping all the NPC dialogue and trails.
Skip. Don't care about you right now, Anton. Anton's the one who's like constantly trying to find like the meaning of life, right? Or something, or he's trying to hit on
lovesick
people. Yeah, lovesick. There you go. That's the word. Okay. So no release date for this game. However, it is being developed for PS4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC via Steam. So again, everything. Good job, Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
Well,
Tsukihime, a piece of blue glass moon, was announced by Aniplex and Type Moon.
Yes.
It is the official localization of the 2021 visual novel, again called Tsukihime, a piece of blue glass moon. I mean, it wasn't on purpose to make you read that, by the way. Like, I wanted the whole glass moon, but we'll just have to settle for a piece.
Oh, this is a really impressive looking animation. That
I'll say
probably Aniplex had a lot to do with it, but boy. Okay, so this is like a legendary series that really put Type Moon on the map. Without this series, there wouldn't be Fate. Without the series, there wouldn't be like what's that other one that was pretty popular?
Other Fate?
The Other Fate. And the Other Fate. Yeah, but basically this is the one that really put them on the map.
Yeah. Steins Gate?
No, not Steins Gate.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying popular anime names now.
Yeah, but this animation is sick. So Tsukihime did have a TV animation.
Yeah.
But if they made and they're remaking a lot of like old anime. If they remade Tsukihime with this animation, I would watch the heck out of the series. The story's already really good.
Oh, we are so getting copyright claimed.
Yeah, we're so getting copyright claimed.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, this is very worth a watch.
That is such beautiful animation.
Yeah, I don't usually like talking about visual novels, but this one is kind of a big deal. Yeah. And they're getting a official English localization. So yeah, good job on them not spending more money on Fate, because I feel like Fate has taken over. Kara no Kyokai, that's the other one. And then there's another one. Yeah, there are a couple that are really good. But yeah, Tsukihime kind of started off. So that's the reason why it's in there.
All right. Well, yeah, you're going to be able to play that in English sometime in 2024 on PS4 and Nintendo Switch. And probably PS5 also. I mean, it's for PS4, but it's backwards compatible. So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right. the next piece also comes from Type Moon, which is the reason why I've kind of bundled them together. They've also announced that they will have a brand new action RPG title set in the Fate world. Speaking of Fate, called Fate Samurai Remnant. This game will take place during the Edo period, where you'll play as a young man named Miyamoto Iori, who is caught in the Holy Grail War, which means absolutely nothing to some of you, but the other half is like, holy crap, it's the Holy Grail War, which is the entire premise of Fate. So let's take a look at that trailer real quick.
Alrighty. Hang on. Make sure I'm clicking the right one.
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're totally getting copyright claimed. Whatever.
I'm so sorry.
God, that looks awesome.
So Fate makes a lot of games. Fate, Fate would have Fate has actually made a lot of games, like particularly on PSP and such, until they made Fate Go. So once Fate Go came out, which is the mobile game,
Yeah.
the gacha mobile game that got really popular. Ever since that happened, whenever I see Fate game, I just assume that it's a mobile game. So I skipped on this news until someone brought it to my attention, and they're like, "Oh, did you see the new Fate game?" And I'm like, "No, is it another mobile game?" They're like, "No, it's an actual console game." And I'm like, "Hold on a sec, Fate making a console game? What?" And then I saw this, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, this actually looks pretty good."
That looks.
Not gonna lie,
that looks really
looks
rad.
good. Yeah. Yeah, so I am actually really interested in this one, despite not particularly liking the Fate offshoot of the Naziverse. But okay, this game looks really good. I'll give it a pass.
That's so cool. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of all of the upcoming releases that we were going to talk about. Sorry, not upcoming releases.
One second. Release date. September 29th this year.
Really?
I know. It's just wow. These games are just coming out. There's, so in the beginning of the year, we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna eat pretty good this year, right? And then half the year, and they're like, oh, by the way, here's all these other games that are coming out. I'm like, what, 2024? They're like, no, 2023.
Gosh.
This is coming out on September 29, 2023 on PS4, 5, Switch, and PC via Steam. Pre-order is already available. There's a standard edition and a limited treasure box edition over at Nisa Online. So if you're interested in this new game and you want to secure that limited edition, head on over to Nisa. It won't cost $200 this time because they're not Square Eniex.
All right.
All right.
Now that does bring us to the end of the new games that were announced, and that brings us to the next drawing for the Alterium Shift key for the early access that we're giving away. And this one is going to Jamie. So I'll go ahead and send that to you, Jamie, via DM on Twitter. Check your DMs and you should see that soon. All right. And thank you everybody for the likes and the retweets. They really do help. So and again, thank you to Dratsy Games for giving us those keys to give away.
Oh, okay. So I see Drasty sent me a message on Twitter.
Oh, did
I'm
they?
glad I caught it. Yeah, go ahead and do your drawing though. But well, I'll read this. I'll read this message afterwards.
Oh,
It's just like, oh, hey,
Oh.
make sure you read this. It's early access, guys. Come on, like
yeah, it's
this
still
is
early
not
access.
a Let's just preface this by saying again, this is
Yeah.
an early access version.
All right. So now that leads to a merch drop that we have to talk about, right?
Oh, are we doing that before the drawing? Or are you drawing before we do
Oh,
this?
I already did. I just sent it out.
Oh, you sent it out? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well,
Jamie
let me
got it.
read it. Yay! Congratulations. I totally did not hear that part. But okay, let me read this message
Okay.
from Dratsy Games in my Twitter inbox. Hey, Baku, if you do have time before your stream tonight, we'd love to make sure that you are on the latest version of demo early access version. As we know, the email we sent out a lot of information. It did, Dratsy. It was a lot of information. It was a lot of reading. Derek and I were just in the pre-show. We are just talking about how like the indie like companies are either like radio silent or they're like, here's every detail that you need to know. We do prefer the details over no details,
Oh,
but
for
it
sure.
was a good amount of reading. Both should say version 1.1.11 on the bottom of the title screen when booting up the game. So for those two of you who want the game, make sure it says version 1.1.11. To opt into the beta, you have to right-click the Alterium shift in your library, go to Properties, and click on the Betas tab. Under Beta Participation, you should be able to see a Beta Branch option, and click on that, and you will get an update. If you have any questions, please let us know. So if you have any questions, reach out to Dressy Games because they would know how to answer
Yes.
your question. But again, just to say it one more time, this is early access game. Don't expect a fully perfect polished product. But let me tell you, I played the game for about 5 minutes just to make sure that everything's working. I think I spent not 5 minutes, more like 50 minutes, just running around the village.
Yeah.
I just ran around the village. It was just so much fun. It brought me back to the days of just playing games on Super Nintendo, where it's just I'm just running around talking to random NPCs. Like I have no goals. I don't know what I'm doing. And that sense of wonder, it just brings it all back. So I really enjoyed it. Okay. So we've got one last piece of news, and I think a lot of you guys will care about this. And that is the Trails Emma Millstein's Kotobukiya figure. And over in AX they announced or they revealed the prototype, and it looks gorgeous. So can we take a look at that tweet?
Absolutely. Yeah, here.
Message.
Let me pull that up here. Okay, you want to show the message first? Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Oh, whichever.
All right, here is
They got the pictures in there.
Here's the message from them.
Yes, here's
it
the
is-
message.
it's in
Anime
Japanese.
Expo. Yes. Well, basically, it says here's Emma Millstein, prototype reveal over at Anime Expo, yada yada.
Yeah.
But we can take a look at the picture now. So obviously, this we did talk about this before when it was first announced that they will have an Emma figure. But now we finally see the prototype, which is basically unpainted.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you're going to see a painted version. And by the time you have a painted version, that's when you can start doing pre-orders. So
Yeah.
we're just one step away from it being pre-ordered. And I think I've told y'all this, but if you are a Trails fan and you like collecting figures, you really should get acquainted with Kotobukiya, because let me tell you, Kotobukiya is going to make basically every like popular character.
Yeah.
They have Reen, they have this Crow, I think. They made a couple of characters already. Altira? Is that her name?
Altina?
Altina, yes, I think they had like they already did a rerun of her.
Yeah.
She was so popular that they already did like a second run. So definitely get acquainted with that name, Kotobukiya. You're going to spend a lot of money with them. I know I'm spending a lot of money with them. Maybe more money with them than Falcom themselves, which is crazy. I just thought about it. I am spending more money on Trails figures than I'm on Trails games at this point.
I think you need to fix that.
What am I going to do? Buy more copies of the same games?
Just
All
buy more
right.
games. Yep.
Just buy. I'll take 5 copies, please. I need to make sure I spend more money on the game than the figures. All right.
Man.
Yeah.
All right.
That
Well,
was the end of that.
Yeah,
end
that
of
finishes
that.
up the merch for now. So that brings us now to the super chats that we'll be responding to, and also just a little follow up. Earlier, I posed a poll to everybody in the audience about if you could have a game for $60 and then the DLC was extra on top of that. Would you prefer that, or to just pay like $100 up front and have no DLC to have to worry about? That was the basic gist of the question that Baku and I posed to everybody. And
Mhm.
well, after 166 votes,
Mm-hmm.
currently the $60 folks got it at 56%.
Wow. I did not expect that.
And yeah, 44% still would probably prefer the lump sum, they said.
Mhm.
You know, the one-time purchase. But also that could be a matter, because I did see that initially it was a little bit more skewed toward the $100. I think
Yeah.
though the fact that I was hastily putting the poll together, I think that some of that context was eventually lost, and people without that context eventually pushed it forward to the
$60.
So
well, they saw
initially,
$60,
yes.
and they're like, "Yeah, of course I wanted to just pay $60. What do you mean?"
yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that was interesting. So I guess
Mhm.
that means you and I are probably the outliers here on this, but
Yeah, we are.
that's all right. You know,
Yeah, no, but it's pretty even. It's like 56.
it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's like 50-50, whatever.
Yeah. 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 It's a rounding error. It's it is a you know, what's the word?
Rounding
margin
error.
of error. Margin
Yeah,
of
it's a
error.
margin error. Yeah, exactly. That's
sure.
exactly it.
Okay, so we do have several super chats to get through here now that we're going to be responding to, starting with this one from Bring Back Fluffy Dogs, who says, can I get a shout out for my youngest, Chloe, who is a first time HitPoint enjoyer? She's testing the JRPG waters into high fantasy. Any recommendations as a first JRPG for her?
Ys. It's my gateway. I mean, it's my gateway RPG for people. Is Ys.
Yeah.
If you really, I mean, it's either Pokemon or Ys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Pokemon is a good way to.
If they're into high fantasy, as Fluffy Dog says, then Ys would
Ys.
probably be more of my leaning for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Ys is like simple actions, fast paced. You know, that the story isn't too involved. You know, it's pretty good.
yeah. Yeah. I think that turn-based RPGs are a little bit harder to get into, but I think once you've got a taste, like Zelda was my first gateway into RPGs in general.
Really? It was Zelda.
Yeah, that was my first one, and then I was like, I want to play more games like Zelda, and then it led me into games like Secret of Mana, you know, and then eventually down into like other RPGs.
That's another one. Trial of Mana.
Ooh,
Trial of Mana would be amazing. Like the remake, not the older game. But if you want to try the older game, that's fine. But the remake, because it's colorful, it's 3D, it's voiced. The story is very simple. You know, your child can pick from all their characters, and then they can kind of, you know, put their team together. It's fun.
Yeah.
The gameplay is fairly simple. I mean, I played it when I was a kid, so obviously, and I'm not smart. So if I could do it, your youngest can definitely do it. Yeah, I'd say Trial of Mana, the highly recommended as a gateway.
Definitely. And hello, Chloe. Shout out to you.
Hey, hello, Chloe.
Now, Flippy Dogs also says, I'll pony up for a complete package on a cart or a disc for whatever, rather than relying on eShops and downloads in the future.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's definitely one of the reasons I like a lot of times people are like not super happy about like re-releases or ports, but one of the greatest things about what those do sometimes is just including the DLC from the get-go like on the disc, and then you don't have to worry about eShops or whatever after that. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things when we hear about the news of ports and remasters.
Right.
Eagle Knight sent us a message here. Support the indies and physical carts. I'll pay that $100 price point for the complete game with perks like art books, soundtracks, etc. Oh man, yeah. If we could like bring back things like game manuals or just soundtrack discs included in addition to the game itself, like that used to be kind of like not always standard, but it used to be a thing that it just sometimes would show up with one.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
I miss those manuals, man.
Oh man, I mean, obviously I never read any of them. I looked at the pictures, but like I would never actually like look at what the items did back in the day.
Yeah.
But also I was, 12 and and I didn't realize that the manuals were actually super helpful.
Yeah, same. I
mean,
I just treat them like the art books.
Man, now I look at them when I start, if I happen to be as luxurious as to own a physical cartridge in addition to a manual, then I'll make sure to give it a perusing as well, and it's really nice.
It didn't help that I imported a lot of games in Japan. So not only were they very wordy books, they were also in moon runes. So I didn't know how to read Japanese back then.
Oh yeah.
I was only learning. So I was just like, I don't know what this is. Whatever. Oh,
That's
pretty
probably not
picture.
important.
Okay. Back in the case you go. Let's start the game.
If it was important, it would have been in English.
Right.
Oh man. Flippy Dogs then says, if we move to $100 for complete games, would that then mean that Square Enix Collectors Editions are automatically $500 and up?
Ooh.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, Square Enix doesn't really do DLCs, do they?
Not well.
I'm trying to think.
Depends. It depends on the games that we're talking about here. Because
which game have they really done like the microtransaction kind of DLC, not the expansion kind?
Well, I'm thinking of
it's like a different kind of DLC.
Babylon's Fall.
Okay, that's a live service game. It doesn't count. But like a game where they actually sell you the full thing, and then because that was the premise, right? Like you buy a full thing, and then you have all these like microtransaction, like extra character, extra costume, extra pretty hats that you can put on. Falcom does that. Tails does that.
Jamie in the chat says Marvel Avengers. So it's not their main content that we care about, I guess.
It's the Western studio that they have sold off all of them apparently to fund the NFT adventure,
which bodes really well for them, because I heard the other day that Logan Paul's NFT that he paid something like a few million for is now worth $10.
Oh yeah, it's so bad. I was just thinking about this today. I was like, if only they spend that money investing into AI, Square Enix would be worth so much money right now.
I know, man.
Yeah, instead of spending that money on NFT, well, I mean, it's still a fad, if you will, but at least this one actually helps you make games. Right? Like you could totally use AI. There's so many applications on AI to help you improve that like game creation process. It would actually make sense versus NFT, which you and I have sat here and we're like, okay, let's not be hasty. Let's think about how NFT can be helpful. And we couldn't think of anything like substantial enough for them to put that much money in, other than because they want like a gacha game, basically, that's NFT based. But had they invested into AI, oh man.
I know.
Can you imagine? They would have made so much money.
But if I was gonna say, if I had the notion of investing in AI, I mean, honestly, like I would have invested in TSMC or something, right?
I mean, something to that. I mean, but it's not the crazy thing is that it's not too late for them to like shift gear and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
forget NFT. Let's put hundreds of millions into AI because they can use AI assisted tools to correct graphics, translations, you name
That's
it. There's
true.
so many steps to game creation that could be benefited with AI assisted tools to make it faster and like to make more content cheaper, faster, right? So
They could
and make
leverage it to make better games, potentially.
exactly right,
Or more innovative games that they just, you know, from a different perspective, a new perspective for them.
and whatever technology they develop, they could sell that to other studios. You
Yeah.
didn't think about that. It's like selling a game engine. It's like, okay, here's AI assisted tools for making games. Now we can sell that tool and make money off of it. So much potential. But you know what? What do we know about technologies and games, anyways, Mr. Derek? We don't know anything. But yeah,
No.
NFT, the way to go. Square Enix, good job.
Well, Matthew Phillips says, I can't remember when I bought a new game because I've been waiting 1 to 3 years to get a definitive edition code for a full game down the road. That or the wait for either that or wait for like a 50% discount on Steam. Am I hurting the game market? Gosh, it's not that you're hurting the game market, but I will say that you are significantly decreasing your voice, you know, insofar as you had any voice at all, right? Like,
yeah.
if you don't buy the games that you want to support, I mean, you're just no longer really going to be part of the equation about what kinds of games get made. Same with when you buy secondhand games, right? If money from your pocket is not entering the wallet of the corporation who's making your video games or the indie developer who's making the games that you enjoy, they just won't make games for you anymore. They'll make it for the 12-year-old who is using mom and dad's credit card to buy, you know, gotcha characters or or NFTs or whatever. I mean, corporations gonna corporate, you know, they're gonna do the things that get them the money. And I mean, I totally understand wanting to be stingy. I am stingy as heck. Like, it's not a judgment from me at all. But I fully realize, though, that like by doing so, I am contributing in some small way to the, you know, death by 10 billion microtransgression of paper cuts that is going to kill the beast that makes the RPGs that I like, right? So
yeah.
like, I don't know. I want to support the developers who do the things that I like, and I don't want to support the ones that I don't. So, but I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, when somebody says that the answer is to vote with your wallet, weep for humanity, because you're never gonna. Yeah, it's just not gonna be a good outcome generally.
Yeah. There's this whole like scholarly debate over what it means to actually vote with your wallet, and whether or not like that whole like free market capitalism actually works out the way that we are so inclined to believe, and to what extent, right? So definitely don't think that's like the only way. Definitely not with our current like world. Like you can be a larger voice by just being a content creator, right?
That's true.
You can, you know, you like us talking about games right now, like we're talking about it and you're hearing it. That does something, maybe more than just buying a game, right? So if you truly want to help certain things, you can just even just spread the word about it. You don't have to think too hard about like what you're actually doing with your wallet, because other people will vote with their wallet based on what you say. So it's funny how that works. But yeah, but this is all providing that, hey, you have the means to even participate in, right, that vote with your wallet. Some people might not, right? So they get ostracized, right, because they don't get to vote because they simply do not have the funds for it.
Right.
That's something that they don't take account of, right? But hey,
Mhm.
if you can convince other people to get the games, then you're good.
Yep. It's so long story short, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But obviously your money is yours to choose to spend as you see fit.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, it's not your problem if you're harming or helping the gaming industry, right?
Yeah.
So
And yes, as someone points out, not buying, it's also a vote. Yeah.
that's right.
Abstaining from participating is in itself a vote.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
absolutely a fact. Um, so next up, uh, Bring Back Fluffy Dogs then says, I'll be the voice of the hit pointers. Can we please stop the collector's editions that don't include the physical game?
Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. Oof. I
Says
don't know why they started doing that.
says I'm not a fan. And I think that they said PC excluded, but screw that. PC included. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
going to sell a collector's edition, come with all the things. Like
Mhm.
make it so that you don't I mean, sure, some games where you have a physical copy have to be authenticated, but I mean, that honestly only minorly inconveniences the pirates out there that you're trying to thwart, you know, by including the online authentication to like just put out the disc, you know, it's fine, you know. Like, pirates are gonna pirate anyway.
Pirates are gonna pirate.
Corporation's gonna corporate, pirates gonna pirate.
Pirates gonna pirate. Yeah.
That's another way to vote, by the way.
Oh my God. I voted with the little sticker on the chest.
Not one that I'll endorse, but it is an option. Fluffy Dogs goes on to say, "Oh yeah, Super Dark RPGs does not endorse piracy."
That's true.
Bring Back Fluffy Dogs then says, "I know that I'm late to the party, but I just recently got a 3DS. Is Radiant Historia your recommendation for a classic JRPG on it, or do you have another suggestion? Also, prices of DS Blue Dragons make them snooze. Yep."
Yeah, Radiant Historia is an amazing RPG on the 3DS and I think the regular DS.
I still
Yeah.
haven't played it, but yeah, I've heard that it's really, really good. Like everybody sings its
Yeah.
praises. I don't have a way to capture footage from a 3DS currently. Still working on it.
I need them to port it to a modern console because oh my god, it's such a shame that game is trapped in the DS. Like
No.
DS was great, but we need to get it out.
Like legitimately,
Um,
we just need a way to like play 3DS games on a Switch. Like just do it, Nintendo. Come up with an adapter. Figure it out.
No, see, the problem with that game is like the top screen and bottom screen are so like it's so necessary
Yeah,
to use.
that's what the tate mode is
Yeah.
for. You
Yeah,
turn the
so-
controller sideways and you have a top screen and a bottom screen. Tate mode.
Yeah, I just need them to export that game out into a modern console. Please, Nintendo, you got this.
Next up, Eagle Knight says, "Hey everyone, make sure you hit that like button and support the show."
Thank you.
Yeah, very much appreciated
Please.
there, Eagle. And honestly, the likes, seriously, every time that we mention it and we get a few extra likes, I see the number of viewers jump up a little bit, and it really does help. So
It
thank
does.
you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, Fluffy Dog says, "Like compliments? Want more? Just days ago, I found myself in a retro store, dripped out in mint HitPoint tea.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't you know, a lovely lady vocally admired my shirt. Get yours today and don't leave home without it."
I mean, yeah, that mint is cool mint. You know, you just
You know, it's every time I wear my own merch, which is to say, every day I go to work and
Mhm.
like I'm like I actually went to work the other day wearing my Super Dark logo tee. That
Mhm.
is kind of this like orangey like gradient from like dark orange to yellow back to orange. And it's got the Super Derek logo on like a kind of a charcoal kind of color. I was wearing that, and it occurred to me, it's like I'm wearing a label, like not just like a label as in like my brand label, but like this is like an icon of my head on my chest, and then like right below it a name it says Super Derek. Like I am literally wearing a label of myself for myself.
So what do the people at work say?
Well, they gave me a compliment, but then they're like, "Is that your YouTube channel?" I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
yes, it is.
I have my own branded T-shirt. What
Yep.
do you got?
That's when it occurred to me. I was like, I am just wearing a shirt that says my name on it. I don't know. Something about that just cracks me up to no end. But yeah. Anyways.
I'm glad they enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're super cool, when you wear your own band tees.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
But they're so dang comfortable. And
They are.
and,
They are so comfortable.
and my closet is full of them at this point because they're so nice. I feel like Doug from the Nickelodeon cartoon where he like opens up his closet and it's just his entire outfit, just like several rows of them.
Oh, I forgot about that show. Yeah, I forgot about that show.
Yep. All right. Next up, the Detecting Zone Gaming says,
Hey.
I think the game you are talking about from for the Fate-like VN is Melty Blood.
No, not Melty Blood. Melty Blood is a Nasuverse like sort of collective kind of game. If anything, Melty Blood doesn't. I don't think Melty Blood has fake character. Melty Blood has Tsukihime characters. No, the thing that I was thinking about. Hold on, I'll look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another Fate game. Extella. Fate Extella. Oh, it's actually on Steam. Oh, I didn't even know it's on Steam. Huh, interesting. Yeah,
Right.
but it's one of those games where it features Nero as it features Nero instead of Altheria. For anyone who watches Fate and knows Fate like story, they know what I'm talking about. Fate Extra.
Okay.
Fate Extra. Yep, a bunch of these.
All right. Well, we got another question here from Still Alive, who asks, digital versus physical games, what do you prefer and why? I've been watching a ton of YouTubers lately talk about this question, LOL. So I think that I've been pretty vocal about wanting physical copies of games. But I totally get it when people want just a digital copy and a digital library, and it's just when they are ready to go, they just, open the app on the app. They just open the program, they just run the game on the computer. No need to worry about shuffling around with things, no having to have gigantic shelves full of games in the background. It makes total sense. Except for when you are more retro game oriented and you see things like physical or digital game stores closing, games that had patches maybe no longer being available at some point.
3DS, PS3, Wii U.
I mean,
that list is only gonna grow. Like,
yeah, and I mean, I get it. And usually up to this point, a lot of games that were like that have the consoles themselves have been hacked wide open, and you can just put them on an SD card and you're pretty much good to go. I think even the PS3 at this point is pretty well just opened up, and that was, I was following that for a long time. It was pretty touch and go about whether or not that would be possible, but I'm pretty sure at this point any PS3 can pretty much just run games. So, that's cool and all, but still, monkey brain here likes to have the thing in my hands that I can hold, something in which I can I can send my love and affection onto this object that I hold in my hands, and I can be like, yes, this is mine. I have the thing in my hands that I enjoy. You know,
I mean, you know what I still do
what's that?
and have not stopped doing since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I borrow games from friends and I let friends borrow games. Now in 2023, I still got like 2 or 3 games out there that my friends have borrowed, and I know exactly who they are, right?
And you know where they live.
And I know where they live.
And Brian had better give that game back soon.
Brian, I'm watching you.
Brian.
And you're watching me right now. Watching you. No, but like that's the thing that maybe it's just like people from our time, just we've kind of used to having ability to do that. Like here's a physical copy. Oh, I bought this game. Well, I'm not really playing it right now. Do you want to borrow it? You can just play it. Or like, yeah, so I'm sick of this game now. I can just sell this copy. Or it's ownership. At the end of the day, it's ownership. I paid it. I own it. That's how I'd like it to be. When it's digital, you don't own it. You lease it. And as soon as that service is down, you no longer have access to it, and that's too bad. It's something that doesn't jive well with me with this. Steam has made it pretty good in such a way that I've had games from like maybe almost 2 decades ago, and I can still have access to them, right? But that's the exception, not the rule at this point. Yeah, I don't expect PlayStation Network to be like another Steam. I expect Steam to be Steam, but then everybody else are just gonna close down their shop and say, "Too bad, so sad." Your DLCs, okay, all of your items that you purchase, all the extra things, all the icons, avatars, you name it. If it's not in your system by this date, you will never see them again. I don't care that you gave us money for it. That's not our problem.
Yep.
Read a contract.
Yep. Digital games basically are leased. You don't own them. You have a license to use them. And when that lease expires, it's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad. Now, not saying Steam's perfect, by the way.
No.
Like, this is not Steam is so great. Oh my God. We're simply saying that in that regard, they do a better job than other platforms. Every one of them have their own flaws, right? So it's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why what Baku and I kind of getting back to what we were saying earlier at the beginning is like, this is why we lament like the current state of games as well, coming out half finished or half included.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
is the fact that basically the way of like retro games where you can just have everything on a disc, it's kind of over. And I would really prefer that we could go back to the way things were, where you got the whole thing. Like you unlocked things by playing the games and like finding new and creative things like you like New Game Plus would then unlock special characters or something like that, rather than spending an extra $10 to unlock that character, right?
Yeah.
But who knows? Until game developers are able to cover their costs without doing that sort of thing, I don't know if there's any going back. I think at this point, Pandora's box has been opened, and I don't think that even if they raised prices of games to 100, that they would still be like, oh, well, we weren't planning on this DLC, but we sold so well, we just wanted to give this free DLC, like with with Gust, and then it's like, yeah, that's cool, but
yeah, and we're never going to have a definitive edition that just like has everything.
Yeah, we just need to end the internet. I think it was a bad idea.
Yeah, until the next console.
Yeah, the internet was a bad idea. We should reconsider everything.
Well, okay, you know what? Like, so Persona 5, for example, Persona 5, for the PS5 version, anyways, has all the DLC in the disc. I think. East 8, East 9 Definitive Edition also has other DLCs on the disc. So it's not that they can't do it, but they have to have a good reason to release that like definitive edition with all the DLCs
Yeah.
later on. But that also means that whatever you purchased before, you may have to buy again and then sell the old version, which is kind of a hassle. It's not a perfect solution, but there is something like that if you so insist, right?
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that about does it for all of the oh gosh, did I never change the section to super chats and outro? Well, that I think too late now. So that about wraps it up for all of the super chats that we've gotten today. But thank you all so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed today's show and if you enjoyed it on whatever podcasting platform you are enjoying it on, please be sure to give us a review or a like or a thumbs up on, whatever you're listening on. Yeah, be safe out there. 4th of July can be a little crazy. Don't blow off any of the fingers that you need to play video games.
Mm-hmm. Folks in the East Coast, please be careful with the air quality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
good call.
my area, like the DC area, we're getting like super bad air quality rating, so we don't even recommend going outside right now. Like Chicago is pretty bad. Yeah, a lot of cities up and down the East Coast. West Coast, you should be fine. Unless you're California, because you guys also have wildfires in your own state. So there's that. Yeah.
Seems these days the whole world's on fire.
So we were joking before, but now Mother Nature is like, "Oh, you were kidding?"
Right. All right, Baku. Any final thoughts for the people at home before we close out today's episode?
I actually have some final thoughts, and that is I will actually be streaming tonight. And what? I'm actually going to take a break from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and we will actually take a look at Alterium Shift.
Oh.
So if you guys want to come by to my Twitch channel later on, maybe in like I don't know, like in 20 minutes or so.
Sure.
Let me set up a little bit. Yeah, we'll be taking a look at the game that we've been talking about basically all day today. And if you weren't able to get a copy from HitPoint, I do have one more copy to give away. So please be sure to swing by over at twitch.tv slash Bakusan JRPG. Thank you so much for doing that link there, Derek. Yeah, and I will be streaming over there tonight.
All right, everybody. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you on Sunday. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey.